Before dawn on October 10, 2025, the port of Novorossiysk on the Black Sea became the center of a secret exchange between Moscow and Beijing. Fog rolled across the harbor, but high above it, a Ukrainian Lanter satellite sliced through the haze and spotted movement no human eye could detect. A convoy of trucks crept forward in near-total silence. Inside them were DF-11 ballistic missiles, each armed with a warhead powerful enough to erase entire districts of a Ukrainian city. The images reached Kiev like a spark falling on dry powder. No debate, no hesitation. One command echoed across the defense grid: activate Operation Night Veil. Dozens of FPV kamikaze drones were launched into the darkness, cheap, small, and lethal. Their mission: stop the convoy before it reached Russian territory. The question was simple: could Russia's defenses intercept the incoming swarm, or would the Black Sea witness a strike that shifted the balance of power? At 3:47 a.m., one of Ukraine's Lanter satellites captured a frame that changed the strategic landscape. A shipping container marked ALH-455, carrying China's Norinco insignia, was being unloaded. Nearly 24 Chinese personnel guarded it. AI systems in Kiev processed the image through over 100 recognition filters. The verdict was immediate: 15 DF-11 missile systems, each capable of delivering a 1,700-pound warhead up to 190 miles. If these missiles reached their destination in Belgorod, Russia would gain the ability to strike deep into Ukraine's second-largest cities. At 3:49 a.m., the Situation Room in Kiev lit up red. Operation Night Veil was officially in motion. A U.S.-built MQ-9 Reaper lifted into the sky, tracking the convoy from 10,000 feet. Its sensors detected the convoy's course, escort vehicles, and their projected rest point near an old fuel depot. This was no simple logistics run. It was a covert escalation, and Ukraine had no intention of letting it succeed. By 4:05 a.m., the Reaper hovered above the dark Belgorod forest, feeding Kiev's command center a stream of thermal imagery. 15 missile trucks glowed like embers moving through the trees. Combined, they carried the destructive equivalent of more than 16,000 pounds of explosives. AI systems in Kiev sifted through hundreds of gigabytes of telemetry every minute, isolating command vehicles, mapping the convoy's radio behavior, and predicting its next stop with unsettling accuracy. Two modified MTLB armored vehicles, Echo 1 and Echo 2, moved into position with their engines low and silent. These weren't ordinary carriers. They were equipped with experimental electronic warfare suites capable of distorting and redirecting enemy signals. Their primary tool, known as Echo Trap, could reflect Russian jamming frequencies straight back at their source. At 4:13 a.m., Russia detected a Ukrainian scout drone and destroyed it instantly. Moments later, Russian Orlan-10 reconnaissance drones launched and flooded the area with jamming waves. But Echo Trap performed flawlessly, turning their interference back on them. Both Orlans lost orientation. For nearly 3 minutes, Russia's entire jamming grid went blind, a $1 million blackout created by a device smaller than a suitcase. The path to the strike was now clear. At 4:15 a.m., the convoy unknowingly entered a kill zone mapped down to the last few feet. The encrypted order reached the MTLB units: execute Strike Alpha. 20 FPV kamikaze drones burst into the air. Each weighed barely 4.5 pounds, yet carried a shaped charge capable of tearing through armor. Guided by synchronized laser pulses updating 20 times per second, the swarm split into formation, some targeting fuel trucks, others missile carriers, and the rest aiming at command vehicles. Russian radar screens flooded with false echoes. Operators didn't even know the drones were real until the first one hit. At 4:17 a.m., a drone plunged into a fuel truck, triggering a fireball that lit up the forest. Seconds later, 2 more drones struck missile trailers. The DF-11 propellant ignited, producing a chain reaction that tore through the convoy at more than 1,700 feet per second. The Pantsir S-1 air defense system attempted to fire back, launching 3 missiles costing tens of thousands of dollars each. All three missed, victims of the earlier jamming inversion. Russian soldiers fired blindly into the smoke as explosions consumed the clearing. By 4:18 a.m., the flames reached temperatures over 1400 degrees. A swarm costing under $25,000 had just destroyed over $120 million in equipment and wiped out dozens of trained personnel, including Chinese advisors. At 4:20 a.m., the smoke thinned enough for satellites to confirm the scale of the destruction. A crater 35 feet wide steamed at the center of the clearing. 15 missile carriers were reduced to twisted metal, 4 escorts burned into the earth, and every missile casing was destroyed beyond salvage. Forensic units later found that the shockwave shattered windows nearly 10 miles away. Russian state TV called it a logistical accident, but independent satellites soon published the exact coordinates. The truth was undeniable. By sunrise, analysts around the world studied the images. A $25,000 drone operation had erased $120 million in military assets. The cost-to-destruction ratio was nearly 1 to 5,000. Western intelligence labeled it the 5-minute miracle. But what it revealed was even more significant. The presence of Chinese personnel among the casualties triggered diplomatic shockwaves. Beijing and Moscow lodged protests at the UN, while Kiev held its ground, stating simply, "Those were weapons of war. We removed them." By 6 a.m., the smoldering crater near Belgorod had become the most analyzed point on Earth. Analysts realized the operation succeeded because of 5 precise elements: orbital detection at critical altitude, AI-powered signal mapping, the Echo Trap's unprecedented jamming reflection, ultra-quiet MTLB control units hidden near the highway, and FPV swarm synchronization at 0.05-second intervals. No human commander could have coordinated these elements manually. This strike wasn't simply military, it was algorithmic. As global analysts tried to understand the consequences, one unsettling truth emerged. If 20 homemade drones could annihilate a multi-million-dollar convoy overnight, the next generation of warfare would be shaped not by tanks or aircraft, but by code, satellites, and machines no larger than a bird. By 7:10 a.m., the smoke drifted from a landscape that had quietly rewritten the course of modern warfare. In Kiev's underground command room, no one celebrated. There was only the heavy realization that a new era had arrived, one where silent drones, hidden algorithms, and unseen machines could shift the balance of entire nations. The strike would be remembered as Operation Silent Forest, a moment when ingenuity overcame sheer firepower and a smaller nation outthought 2 global powers. And as the first light rose over a world still unaware of what had unfolded, one question echoed like fading smoke. If wars can now be fought by machines too small to notice, what unseen battles are already beginning far above the clouds?